Okay, y'all. So I'm doing a hey Erica. I'm doing a flame reflective reading tonight, and I think somebody is coming on to do a endings reading as well to wrap up that uh last month's. Oh shit! Speaking of, hold on. Whoa, 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 whoa! Wait a second. Back it up. Back it up. Back it up. I don't forgot to end the readings. Okay, so we have somebody coming on who's doing a flame reflection reading, which is Erica. Just give me 1 second, Erica, and I can pull you up. And then we also have somebody who should be coming on to do a endings reading. But we'll see because I think she's missed a couple times. Um, let me get my space settled because I just got off a reading. So I just want to make sure that the space is set for you real quick, Erica. And then I can call you up. I'll send you an invitation through you'll get an invite link in just a second. I just need to set my space real quick. I've been running around all crazy all day, y'all. I've been working out every single day, and that shit been working me out. I'm so tired yesterday. I was busy. Today I'm busy. But it's okay. We're going to keep at it and see where it take us. All right. Okay, and this is for Erica. And so delay gives we reveal themselves to the soul with gentleness and clarity. I send it the mirror in the original design. Hold on. Girl, I thought I almost burnt my chest up. I call forth the purest frequency of remembrance for Erica to reveal truth to her sacred flame origin, distortions, gifts, and what you are ready to reclaim now. May only that which is so authentic be revealed. I serve as a mirror and a witness. Let the lineage speak. All right, Erica. And so we're looking for your primary lineage. You can have up to 3 um, in your primary lineage, and it's basically going to be the language that your soul speaks. It's your core essence, your originating frequency of your that your oversoul encoded upon your arrival in this incarnation cycle. This lineage holds your most prominent gifts. It holds your mirror themes, your healing codes, and it is your root flame. Okay, so you have up to 3. Most people are going to have 3 because a lot of us are hybrid flames unless you came here with one embodied mission. Um, Rare people will have up to 5, but it's not very common. Okay. Um, yeah, because this was just an initial reading. Okay. And so if I discover some secondary frequencies, which is very common in this work, I will give them to you and I will just keep them just because as we are doing these sessions live, other people are going to have different energy. And so if you hear a lineage that is like a secondary lineage and I'm going over it, like you could gain that information from these videos, or you can book a tier 2, tier 3 reading. Okay. Um, all right, all right, all right, all right. And so for you, there is energy that I was picking up beforehand, which is a crystalline energy, which is a rare energy. Also, an emerald energy, which is very earth coded, a mirror energy as well, and then a rose gold energy. Okay. Now, with this energy though, I need to check. So with rose gold, I need to check rose violet. With the mirror energy, I also need to check diamond and opal. With the emerald energy, I need to check crimson. Deep amber. Because they usually come together. All right. So, Erica, I'm about to send you an invite. And so you can turn on your camera if you want to, or you can keep it off. It don't matter. Whatever you want to do, girl. Um, let me write these out though. Okay. I can check all of these together. Hey, Erica girl. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
I can hear you, girl. I'm doing good, my love. Thank you for joining us today, and thank you for doing this in a public setting. You know, I love these mirror sessions because it allows other people to, just pick up on some advice or whatever the case may be. So I definitely appreciate you. Um, what I'm gonna do is ask you some questions so that we can narrow down what your energy is because I I can so it's in the way that your name lands in my body.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know how to really explain that. But it's where it lands, and that's how I know because for some reason Erica feels reflective to me, and I feel it in my chest. And so that's rose gold energy for sure, or rose energy in some capacity. I just got to figure out where to place that because that does feel secondary. And then your energy feels like a mirror energy to me, because I don't know why it feels reflective, like Erica, Erica, Erica. It feels reflective. And so there is some crystalline mirror, diamond, opal. We're trying to figure it out type of energy. Okay. So what I'm going to do is take you through 5 questions. And I kind of just need a yes, that resonates, or not so much in certain areas. Okay. So the first
Okay.
question is, what patterns do you find yourself repeating in life? And then if you need examples, you let me know.
Um, Certain patterns. When I was younger, the pattern was if I open myself up and love someone too much, something will happen and they will leave me. I don't know if
Abandonment.
that's I don't know if that's what you're
Yep.
asking or things
Mm-hmm.
like that.
Yeah. Um, that's if you love too deeply. And so that's definitely a rose energy. We know that she's there. It's just where is she? Right. And so that's abandonment. Do you ever find yourself overgiving or prioritizing other people's needs in front of your own, maybe not speaking up because you don't want to cause an issue, or feeling um like love is conditional from other people?
Um, I do to a certain extent. It's only in relationships, like in love relationships.
Okay.
And I'll give and give and give, and then I get frustrated, and then I cut them off quick.
Okay. Gotcha. So that is what we call people pleasing. Um, it's not a bad thing. It's just us trying to prove our worth through other people. And that looks like us giving, 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 pouring endlessly into them because we're trying to prove that we're a good girlfriend, a good wife, a good sister, a good mother, any of those things. And what we're actually doing is trying to validate our worth. Okay. And so that is absolutely rose goldish energy. So good. Let me give you some. I'm gonna do these in brackets, okay? Because
Okay.
I'm trying to weave certain energies together, okay?
I got you.
And so the first one is there any looping of abandonment, or maybe a loss of a divine mother or feminine womb, mother wounds, or any fear of being
Definitely.
left behind? Might overgive to feel loved. Definitely, you said.
Definitely a severe mother wound. My mom had brain surgery when I was 4 and
Mm.
completely like lost control of her body. So she was just kind of stuck in her shell. And
Oh,
so
yeah.
yeah. So definitely that. But
I'm
no
sorry to hear that,
resentment
love.
because she couldn't control it.
Right,
So
yeah.
yeah.
But it's still that loss of that mother's love, that comes with teaching you how to nurture yourself and teaching you how to navigate some of the complexities and stuff. So thank you for sharing that. I really appreciate that. I'm sorry you had to go through that.
Yeah.
So then that's okay. So that's that. And then we have a maybe looping unworthiness, feeling like conditional love or projection. If I reflect too clearly, I'll be rejected. And so it's almost like I got to stay silent to stay in love or to stay in this environment.
To keep harmony, to keep peace.
Yeah,
There are
for sure.
times where I will stay quiet. And I also know that I can be very, very cruel at times. So if I let it get pent up too much
Yeah.
and I unleash, I will hurt someone.
So does that look
yeah.
like suppressed rage?
Yeah. Like literally,
Okay.
like everything will black out, literally.
Yeah. Okay, that's definitely rose gold. She is a lover, but she's also a when she gets crossed, and so it's okay. It's because she has a lot of betrayal wounds, and so it's okay. All right. So that's the first two. And so now I got to do another bracket. So is there any loop of betrayal or being misaligned with your purpose, feeling like you can't trust your path?
More like I didn't know my path. I feel like I'm learning it now in the last month, but it's more just aimlessly not knowing my path, not being sure.
Okay. Hold on.
Okay. Ooh, my solar plex is just getting heavy.
Is it? That is absolutely the mind, the mental energy for sure. That's where our ego lives as well. And so that sparked my ears up because there is a pale violet energy and you're resonating with the rose violet energy, but there's a pale violet energy as well. And sometimes that violet energy is woven through other lineages. And so I need to go back up to that. Okay. So is there any distrust in your inner knowing or spiritual confusion, maybe amnesia? I must rely on other people to know what's true.
Yeah, there is some of that in as far as initiating truth, but once I hear it, I will get, like the goosebumps or a shiver, then that will tell me that it's true. If that makes sense.
Yeah. That does. But then that points me towards a deep indigo. Do you ever feel like you're too intense or dark? Maybe withdrawing or fear of being consumed by darkness or anything like that?
No.
Okay, got you. So then that's pale violet. All right. All right. So next, wait, did I get through what I need to get through? No. Is there any looping of abandonment, maybe by a masculine energy or loss of protection? I must harden to survive.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. Any looping a fear of slowness or grounding, maybe abandonment of earth timelines? I'll be left behind if I pause.
No. Okay. I feel like I'm late in everything, and like knowing myself, I feel like, I just feel like I'm not, like I'm just late. I'm running behind. I'm not where I need to be. That's the phrase.
Yeah, but okay. I'll be left behind if I pause though. Like you're going like that. That to me, that feels like that could also be the fear of being left behind, that rose violet energy. Okay, girl, we getting there. All right.
Okay.
And the next set. Any hypervigilance or perfectionism. If I'm not perfect, I'll shatter or be discarded.
No.
Nope. Any inner pressure to be unbreakable. I'm only valuable when I'm shining flawlessly.
No. Mm-mm.
Any energetic confusion over merging with other people, identity dissolution. I don't know who I am without other people.
Nope. Mm-mm.
Okay. And then any absorption of other people's wounds. If I don't reflect them, they won't feel seen and I'll be abandoned.
No.
No. Okay. What are your natural gifts, even the ones that you downplay?
Natural gifts. Natural gifts. Um, like spiritual gifts,
Just any gifts
or
whatsoever. Like for me, I'm just naturally wise. I just know stuff. But if you need examples, I can run you through like I just ran through the last one.
this is just off the top of my head. People will just talk to me about things. Just tell me things. People will tell me that they like being around me. They can be themselves. They don't feel like there's much judgment, which I kind of laugh because I feel like I'm judging people. But there's that. And then as far as like spiritual gifts, what I think of as spiritual, because I come from a maternal line that has a lot of like spirit, like majors, psychic, all of that stuff. And I just don't have that same intensity that they have, but I do have people come and visit me in my dreams. People have passed will come and visit me in my dreams. I can feel energy. I can feel certain entities in certain areas. Let's see what else. That's all I can think of right now.
Okay. So that means you're a dream seer, you're a medium, and clairsentience. Okay. So I'm gonna give you some brackets. Okay. And I'm gonna go from the shadow side. Just because I feel like more people can recognize their shadow than they do the good parts of energy sometimes. And so I'm just gonna give you the shadow side. Okay. The first one is believing that your softness is weakness or giving without receiving.
I guess giving without receiving, but it's only to a certain spot. Like only to a certain point.
Is it?
And after that, I'm done.
Is it a specific person that you think of when I say that, or is it only in a specific area of your life?
It's only people, my loved ones. It's only family, and when I'm in a romantic relationship, it's only those people that I will let go so far, and then after that, I'm done. I don't care who you are. I'm done.
Okay.
So,
what about avoiding your own emotional needs by focusing only on other people's healing?
No, I'm only like that with my kids. Maybe.
Okay. Doubting your insight unless it's externally validated.
I am that to a certain extent. Yeah.
Okay. What about overgiving your healing presence instead of anchoring into your own rhythm?
No, that doesn't resonate.
Okay. Avoiding your own grief or vulnerability.
Yeah, well, initially I want to say yeah. I have a very, very rough exterior. Well, I think it's pretty rough. I think I present very strongly, very opinionated, very strongly. Yeah, so gotcha. Yeah, I don't like to show vulnerability or weakness, or what I term as weakness or vulnerability. I don't. No.
Okay. Doubting your own knowing, doubting your knowing if it isn't mentally proven, meaning like you don't have a logical explanation or a way to prove it.
No. If I feel something, then that's I give that more weight. If I feel it, but I have to feel it.
Gotcha. Okie dokie. And then there is overthinking instead of trusting your clear knowing.
As I overthink my answer. To a certain extent, yeah. If it goes against a previous belief, yeah, I will overthink it and try to give something else the benefit of the doubt. I guess that's one of my things. I can see both sides to everything.
Okay.
Like almost everything, I can see both sides to it.
And so then that will be this one. Okay. Over perfecting or forgetting the heart in your work.
No, that doesn't ring true.
Okay. Feeling scattered or afraid of being misunderstood.
Yeah, to a certain extent. Yeah.
Absorbing instead of reflecting or losing yourself in the mirror, meaning like taking on other people's emotions or taking on other people's stuff and not realizing that it doesn't belong to you.
No.
No.
Mm.
Alrighty. What would other people say about how they feel around you?
It's pretty extreme. People either love me or they don't. But
Okay.
if they're around me, they'll pretty much just say that they just feel like they can just be themselves. They love to have fun. They feel like it's just very natural. They say I'm very natural, just earthy, soothing type of person. You can basically tell me anything and I'm not going to be shocked. I'm not going to be surprised. I'm just going to be like, really? So what was that like?
The earthy soothed part is definitely emerald energy. Okay. Okay. Couple questions.
Okay.
Do they ever say that they feel seen, cherished, or emotionally disarmed? Like they feel like they matter when they're near you?
No, I haven't heard those exact phrases. Just that they just like being around and they feel like they can be themselves. That's basically it that I've heard.
Any grief arise or like their inner child starts to stir? Maybe they're talking about deeper things, might cry and not necessarily know why they're crying around you or have a sense of bittersweetness.
Well, not necessarily like the grief release, but I don't have surface conversations. Most of my conversations go pretty deep and esoteric.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Hold on. Okay. Alrighty. So all right, so I'm going to give you some example. What about feeling entranced or otherworldly? They may fall silent, report vivid dreams, or forget what they are saying or what they were saying.
No, that doesn't resonate.
Okay. Next we have, well, we already confirmed that one. What about people feeling braver, emotionally raw, or ready to confront their love wounds? Often feel their chest open or their heart ache.
Yeah, I guess there's been yeah, that happens at times. Yeah.
Okay. Do people ever feel reflected or accountable or shocked into truth? They may feel raw but grateful for the mirror.
Definitely that one. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
This energy is for sure there. I just gotta figure out where to place it. Feeling cleansed, aligned, or exposed in a non-judgmental way, they may release attachments, cry softly, or laugh with relief.
Yeah. Yeah.
Exposed yet deeply loved, emotionally activated. You show me who I really am.
No, I don't. No, not so much of an emotion like that.
Okay. What about confronted with their own contradictions? You mirror back things I didn't know I was hiding.
Yes.
Alrighty. What do you long for but still fear?
Clarity.
Okay. I'm going to give you some examples here. Fear of being too much or taking up space, maybe feeling unworthy of being loved without performing or proving worth.
A little bit of that. Yeah, that unworthiness creeps up.
Okay. Fear of abandonment if you speak or you shine. So you stay small or silent to keep connection even when it hurts.
I'm working through that one, but yes, that's present.
Okay, gotcha. Fear of being invisible or forgotten in your mysticism hides your insight out of fear that no one will believe or understand you.
A little bit, but not really, because my family is so accepting of that.
Yeah.
So,
sure. Okay. Fear of being unable to heal or fix what's broken. Guilt over pain keeps you from trusting your own touch.
No, that doesn't resonate.
Okay. Fear of loving again after soul betrayal may block intimacy or heart opening to avoid being hurt again.
Yeah, even yeah. I'm not afraid of it. I just don't know if I can open as much or show as much vulnerability, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not bitter towards
No, I don't
it.
think fear has anything to do with bitterness. Fear is not trusting enough to open. I mean, fear is like closing yourself off or contracting instead of being in a state of expansion. And so if there's a fear of vulnerability, then there's a fear of intimacy, or there's a block around intimacy. Gotcha. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't mean that you're bitter or anything like that, because I don't think most people are bitter who fear intimacy. Is just people who have been hurt and they're trying to protect themselves.
Yeah, then I definitely have that. Dang it, I didn't realize it. But yeah.
Okay. What about fear of your gifts, or that your gifts won't be valued in a disembodied world? May silence your wisdom or play small in modern settings.
No, my fear is that my gifts really aren't true gifts, or are not really strong or comparable to other people in my family.
Okay. Okay. All right, and now we're on to the mirror. Is there any fear of being too harsh, too sharp, or being rejected for your clarity? May soften your truth or withhold it to avoid being seen as cold?
Definitely, yes.
Okay. Any fear of exposure or being misunderstood in your purity? May withdraw to avoid distortion or invasion?
Yeah, there's that too. Yeah.
Okay. Fear of being blamed or rejected for reflecting other people's wounds to them. May people please or self-sacrifice to avoid being the mirror.
Yeah, but only because I think I'll be too harsh in the delivery.
Okay, so that's definitely a hybrid, an opal diamond hybrid. That's what I wrote down. Okay, good. Good for me. Fear of rejection when showing your full self. May hide or deflect your gifts to protect other people from themselves.
No, that doesn't. No, I'm not feeling that.
Okay. Good stuff is happening here. The last thing is what happens when you're in your shadow.
Ooh, I'm harsh. I will break you down, like just tear people off, and I don't like it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What else?
And stubborn.
Stubborn.
Judgmental. Petty.
Petty. I like a little petty. I like a little petty boots.
Petty. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so I'm gonna give you some.
Okay.
Performs love, overgives, seeks validation through service, may fall into that good girl archetype, suppressed rage, over pleasing, may feel unseen or unappreciated, even when they're doing everything right.
Only in certain circumstances. So only with people that I really, really love and care about. Yeah. I'm kind of the black sheep of the family, whereas I have a sibling who is the real people pleaser. So gotcha. I guess I'm comparing myself to that. Doesn't really resonate.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, hold on. Wait a second. Back up real quick.
Okay.
This energy appears on a spectrum though. And so you don't want to determine it based off how you're comparing it to somebody else. I want you to kind of look at the whole, like on a scale of like 1 to 10, because if you compare it to somebody else, then you're limiting yourself based off of how extreme that person is. And I think sometimes when we don't want to be seen as that, we reject that, but there still might be a level of that exists inside of ourselves. And so I want to make sure that you compare it to the whole and not just this one person, because I think they're extreme cases. Okay. Take your sister out of the equation. From just what I said, is this something that you experience?
Yes, I do experience it. Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. Abandon yourself for connection, may merge too quickly, could get lost in other people's emotions or trauma bond and mistaking that for love, may crave love but avoid true intimacy.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So that's rose violet for sure. Okay.
You are not going to believe this. My candle that I have warming right now.
Yeah.
Rose and violet.
Oh, are they? Okay, that would make sense. Because oftentimes we know, like when I do any reading whatsoever, I am not telling you something that you do not know on a soul level. It's confirmation.
That's wow.
So that would make sense though, because rose violet is what happens when you harden your compassion and your love because you don't feel safe enough to love deeply. And I think that's something you said at the very beginning of the call, was that you don't feel safe enough to love deeply. Rose violet is something that protects that very, very soft and compassionate part of you. That part is absolutely there, right? And that's why I stopped you and said, hold on, take your sister out the equation real quick, because that's something you've consistently agreed to. And I think what I used to do is I used to say as like a petty little dig at my best friend that she acts like Jones off of Girlfriends. And I didn't think that was a good compliment. I thought that was like, girl, you be doing too much, right? And because I was rejecting it and because I didn't take a curious approach and try to understand it, I did not realize that I was also exhibiting that same traits. And because I was rejecting her, I did not see that existed at me. And it's not as intense as her because she's like the extreme of it. Right. However, it still exists in me, and it kept me from doing the real work because I kept rejecting something that was very much so a part of me. And oftentimes we reject things that are a part of us, and so that very soft energy and radiant energy is absolutely there. It's just that it's guarded because it doesn't feel safe to be seen, and I think that's an important thing to talk about. So that's good. Okay. What about dissociates or stays hidden in fantasy realm, may avoid the body or present moment, psychic overload?
No.
Okay.
It doesn't.
Yeah, so that's definitely rose violet instead of pale, which is good. What about overfunctioning as a healer, may burn out trying to help other people, might have a guilt-driven savior complex, which can cause you to neglect your own needs, may feel disconnected from the earth or your own body?
No.
No?
No.
Okay, so that's confirmation on this one. Good. Are my eyes deceiving me? Too many words. Walls off your heart, fights to survive or resist vulnerability, anger without purpose, or self protection at all cost.
Yeah, that's in there.
Yeah, that's up in there. Okay.
That's in there a little bit, just a little bit.
Okay. Um. Okay. And then wait. All right. What about cuts with words, uses clarity to dominate or retreat, may be seen as emotionally cold or overly judgmental, may feel numb or misunderstood in their truth?
Girl, you already know. Yes.
Yeah, that's one of our primary energies, so it's okay.
Yeah.
What about dealing with perfectionism, a fear of contamination, or may avoid intimacy as well? Hypersensitive to distortion, feels like they don't belong on Earth.
No, I don't feel that. No.
Okay.
Hints of it, but no, that doesn't resonate.
Okay, cool. Dissolves into other people's projections, which looks like people try to tell you who you are and you might believe them, especially if it's somebody that you love. Maybe feeling broken or fractured, cannot discern your own truth from what's being mirrored.
That doesn't really resonate either. You know, I'll hear it and I'll be like, they don't know what they're talking about.
Okay. So you don't
yeah.
take on when other people project onto you, you don't take that on as like you.
No.
Okay.
I'll only listen to it if it's someone, you know, someone from family. I'll only listen to it, even ascertain it if it's family. But even then, I'll be like, they don't know.
Gotcha. Okay. What about over identifying with other people's pain, may forget your own essence, may mirror other people without integration, meaning like you are really good at talking it, but you might not integrate it for yourself or apply the wisdom?
Ooh. Well, now talking to you today, I'm thinking, yeah.
Any other times or no?
Not, well, maybe a couple of times where I'll say something will just come out of my mouth and I'm like, ooh, I don't know where that, I guess that was for me too. So,
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let me pull some confirmation real quick because
okay.
I do think that there is a hardness to your energy or guardedness to your energy, which tells me that mirror is absolutely there. There is an opal energy that's coming through here, but for some reason I genuinely thought that was a crystalline energy, but you said no to everything crystalline. And so let me get some confirmation here.
Okay.
Because it's an interesting thing that happens with mirrors, meaning that hold on. Where we didn't really necessarily come here to be met, we came here to reflect people clearly. And so a lot of times, if you're still in your shadow, not saying that you are, it would be really hard for us to have good awareness of ourselves because we're so used to, and then I get the mirror flame. Okay. Oh, shit. Yeah, and I'm getting a bunch of mirror energy, which it's there. So it has to be this opal. Oh, but you also have a diamond energy, so that would make sense. And rose violet is also a mirror flame. Okay, it just be, yeah, because there's a water mirror energy, which would definitely be the waiting flame. Okay. Yeah, and then I get high priestess energy, which makes complete sense. Yeah, there's energy that needs to be seen for sure. And then there's an energy of integration. So hold on one second. What's this? That's what I freaking thought. Okay. All right, we're gonna have to try something else because that's what I wrote down, and you even mentioned something from this lineage in one of our sessions, but we're gonna have to try something out real quick. Yeah, and it came out twice. It literally came out back to back because it's this grid walker energy, and a grid walker is somebody who has an embodied connection to earth, right? And so when you said they feel soothed, that is specifically emerald energy, right? And so you said yes to about 3 of the emerald questions, but the other 3 you didn't. Okay, so hologram, that makes sense. Okay, but that would be opal too. Okay. Sorry, I know I'm talking out of turn. I'm just very excited.
Yeah, this is fine. It's interesting.
The Lyra of
I'm enjoying it.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's a reason why your energy is so guarded too. Okay. Is there anything else? Give me last words. Yeah, this mirror energy for sure. Okay. All right. So let me check these confirmations real quick, and then we're going to have to dig for a second. All right. So this is rose violet and emerald and opal. Okay, good. This is crimson rose gold. Good. This is diamond and emerald. Okay. What's this? What's this? Stone. Yeah, that emerald energy is absolutely there. I'm gonna have to give you some. Oh, okay. We need to rewind real quick. I need to test 2 more energies.
Okay.
I need to test 2 more energies. Okay. So when it comes to patterns that you may be looping, do you ever loop any isolation or soul exile, feeling like you don't belong here?
No, I don't.
Okay. Do you ever suppress your voice? I shouldn't speak because other people know more than me.
Yes, there is that. Or I feel like other people. Yep.
Okay. All right. Is there ever any feeling looping injustice or spiritual bypassing, control through righteousness or distortion of truth? This can look like hyperlogical detachment or suppressed identity. I must hold it all together. I must be right or I'll be erased.
Yeah, there is some of that. Yeah.
Okay. Is there any, when it comes to natural gifts you might have or gifts you might be silencing, speaking truth that catalyzes remembrance in other people, which can look like maybe silencing yourself for fear of judgment or being too much?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. What about assuming your downloads are just imagination?
Well, see, I don't really think I get any downloads. So
You don't think you get downloads?
no.
Okay.
I mean, I have crazy dreams, but I don't think I really get downloads. So
Okay.
I don't know if I'm just in denial or what, but
I think you might be in denial, sister, but it's okay. Any of suppressing your calling out of fear of destabilizing other people?
No.
Nope. Okay. Is there any, and this is going to be what people feel around you, any feeling activated, provoked, or emotionally clarified? Like you said exactly what I couldn't express, like that type of energy.
Yeah, I do get that. Yeah.
Is there any mentally clear, energetically tuned, or emotionally stirred? I feel like I just recalibrated type of energy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any people feeling anchored or humbled, often receive clarity or divine timing afterwards, may bow unconsciously or feel a spiritual authority present.
Yeah, there is that. Yeah.
And then things you might long for but still fear, any fear of misalignment or getting it wrong.
Yeah.
That can look like perfectionism might keep you from ever fully transmitting your gifts, wanting to be perfect in your gift.
Yeah.
I feel like you mentioned
Yeah.
that with your family.
Mhm.
That feels like an overlay though, but I think they wanted me to mention this energy. Um, Fear of being silenced, mocked, or punished for your truth may hold back your voice even when the truth burns inside of you.
Again, like I'll do that if I think it's gonna hurt someone too much. Like if I think it's
Okay.
gonna cut them down too much.
That's a mirror. That's your
I'll
mirror jumping in though. Okay. What about fear of being the law or standard other people resist? Maybe hiding your clarity to avoid confrontation or judgment.
no, I'm not feeling that.
Okay. Last one. Any when it comes to when you're in your shadow, do you ever over control things or seek rigid perfection? Maybe hypercritical of yourself or other people, maybe anxious over making mistakes, which can cause you to feel frozen in fear of choosing wrong.
Yeah, there's some of that, like the whole, control and it has to be just right. I'm kind of a all or nothing person at times,
Mm,
so I want it
yeah,
all. I can't get it all. Then don't nothing. I don't. No, I'm
gotcha,
not doing it.
gotcha. Is there any censoring yourself to avoiding conflict or hiding truth? May use words to manipulate or withdraw voice entirely. Any physical throat issues, feeling unheard or silenced.
Yeah. Again, that whole. I'm not. I need to hold back because yeah, if I unleash, it's not gonna be
Gotcha.
pretty.
Um, any self-righteousness, feeling disconnected from compassion, may become rigid, overly critical of other people's path.
Yeah, I think I have that. Like definitely that shadow. I can become,
Gotcha.
a little like, yeah.
Okay. And so there is definitely a silver blue here, which is where neutrality has to come in. All right. So primary frequency. Sorry. Um I need a new page, but I need to look at this page. So I can't go to a new page. Okay, hold on. I'm trying to find a place to write what I need to write. Ooh. Okay, so we have an opal diamond. We have a crimson. And we have a rose gold. All right. And now your secondary, though, is rose violet. Mm-mm-mm. And then you have a silver blue overlay. And you have a sapphire overlay. Okay, girl. Let me put these cards away so we can get into it. And then secondary, I forgot about this emerald. Emerald. Now let's see if I can put this all on a paper, on a page. Okay, so primary. So you are a primary rose gold energy. Okay, it's just buried. Okay. You're also an opal diamond energy, which is a hybrid energy. And then you are a crimson energy. Those are your main three. Secondary is rose violet, which is trying to help your rose gold come to the top. Rose violet is very protective of this rose gold energy, but that means that if I'm seeing mirror energy, rose gold energy, and rose violet, it means that there's a past life betrayal that was significant where you felt like it was unsafe for you to love, and you're bringing it into this lifetime. And so what this mirror energy does is it stops you from being seen in your fullness because you don't feel like it's safe for you to be fully seen, and it's you create this energy where you're here to reflect other people, okay, which is that opal diamond energy. But you also have an emerald energy, which is earth based. It's going to help you to embody it into this reality. And then overlay, you have a sapphire and you have a silver blue, which is supposed to help you with neutrality. Okay. And it helps that diamond energy. And that diamond energy is an energy that cuts. It's very sharp energy. But it's not a bad energy. It's here to collapse timelines. So you're really not supposed to soften your truth within that, but you are supposed to ground it in compassion because that's what your main energy is. It's speaking from the heart instead of speaking from the wound. And so that energy is a bit out of alignment. Not a bad thing. I just think what I'll do after this is I'll send you a packet with your primary three lineages and some journal prompts that are specific to your lineages to help you alchemize and integrate. Okay. So let's talk about the rose gold energy. The rose gold energy Okay. The rose gold energy is the flame of sacred union. The reason why this rose gold energy is the way that it is, and sometimes takes on that role of over giving to the people that they love, overextending themselves. The reason why that energy does that is because it remembers what it was like for us to be in divine union, meaning that you remember what it was like to be fully met. And so sometimes you try to show people through the way, like prove it to them, like this is what you do, this is what you do, to kind of get them to see what you see, but they don't remember because we've been seeped in distortion for such a long time. And so it's not a bad thing to be that type of person, but I do think that that comes with a hell of a lot of suppressed rage when you've been operating out of that for a while, because I think we are, just as a collective, because we've been repeating these cycles of trying to get people to see it for many lifetimes. In this lifetime, a lot of us are frustrated. A lot of us are tired of trying to show people what it's like to be a decent human being and what it's like to fully love. Right. And so what that energy actually is, though, when it's in its right energy, or when it's in the light side, is Venus energy. It's the energy that's supposed to help us to figure out how to enjoy life and to come into genuine connections with other people. And it's about heart alchemy and us coming back together. It's about unity. But this energy has not felt safe to do this for a long time. Now is the time for us to heal this energy. It's purely divine feminine, but we live in a masculine society. And so everybody's telling us not to be that. And so we kind of get lost in the sauce a little bit when it comes to this energy. I think it's more potent when we're younger. And then as we go older, we start getting all those wounds and we like, okay, I can't be like that because y'all just gonna hurt me. Y'all just gonna keep hurting me, right? This energy has a little bit of a sharp side. And what I'm gonna say about that is when it love you a lot. It love you a lot. But when you betray this energy, things can get very cold, very cut and dry, very much so off with his head or her head or whoever's head needs to be off with. Okay. So this is heart alchemy and divine reunion. This energy holds the frequency of sacred love, of inner union, and the remembrance of a divine mirror. It harmonizes polarity and reveals the true self through deep intimacy with the soul. Okay. There's so many of us who are afraid of this energy because we've only seen it in the distorted side of overgiving, until it's almost like that love girl energy, but it's like that to stupidity. right? And so a lot of us reject this energy because we remember what it's like, but we are really meant to balance this energy out. Okay. So when it's in alignment, this energy exudes a warm magnetic presence that reflects love back to other people. They soften hard truths with grace and often facilitate reconciliation between people, family, or internally as well. It's about inner harmony first before you can, come into community with other people. They hold space for transformation without force and can mirror others' highest potential through compassion. What they activate in other people is inner softness, a desire to come home to oneself, the courage to open your heart again, and deep emotional healing and release. But when it's in the shadow, it's overgiving. Sometimes it can be emotionally codependent. Sometimes it can confuse being needed with being loved. It can also attract emotionally unavailable partners as a mirror of unhealed wounds. And it tends to seek external love to validate its inner worth, which looks like I must sacrifice myself to keep love. If I'm soft, I'll be taken advantage of. If I show my love, they'll leave. I don't know who I am outside of love. Okay. Some of the deeper shadow aspects are going to be deep wounding around abandonment and rejection. Okay. Also, rescuing other people to avoid self intimacy. I think it's so easy for us to fix, save, and heal everybody else, but can we extend that same thing to ourselves, right? Suppressing rage under layers of niceness. Okay. Don't be nice, sister. Ain't no nice. Kindness is the way to go, because you can still say something kindly and it be rooted in truth. Niceness is prioritizing everybody else's needs in front of your own, right? And so it's self-betrayal in a way. And so unclear boundaries mask this compassion as well is another thing. Now, the gifts that kind of come from this energy are deep emotional alchemy and heart transmutation, but you got to be willing to feel. It's not going to work if you don't want to feel. And if you don't have an open heart, you can't feel, right? If you have a guarded heart, you can't feel, right? And so in order for you to unbury this energy, the doorway is the rose violet energy, which I'll give you some information in your packet about that. Just because that's not one of your primary energies, I'm not going to go over it on live, but I am going to send you some information on that, because help a sister out, right? Healing through presence, though, you have to sit present with your emotion without trying to fix it, without trying to fix it and get to that, how do I get over this, right? Or doing more, because I think in this society, we think we could just do more and that can get us to the goal. And we think sometimes we look at it like a checklist. Well, I need to go to therapy and I did this and and now I've moved past that, and there is a need for us to sit with it and not try to fix it. And then holding space for rebirth, for endings, for soul return, restoring innocence and trust in love again, creating safe containers for grief and joy to coexist together, because those are two sides of the same coin. If you want to experience joy or love, you're going to have to experience pain. It's just a part of loving people, right? It could be as simple as you have a kid and your kid falls down and scrape his knee and now you crying. Why? Because you love your kid, And so there has to be space for both things to exist in the same arena, and just knowing that just because you love somebody who did not have the capacity to receive you does not mean that there was anything wrong with the way that you love, the innocence and purity of your love. But I think sometimes we internalize that as, I'm a problem, I must be a problem, I must be unlovable, when in true reality, that person just didn't have the capacity to receive you. I think when we've been through trauma, a lot of times we choose people who need love, not people who can actually return that love, right? And so it's really important for you to understand that in order for you to love, you have to experience pain. And so there's going to be some type of risk involved. And so it's a little bit about willingness, right? Being willing to at least try and know that you're going to have good boundaries within that dynamic, so that you don't betray yourself in the process of trying to show up for other people, right? And so also soul midwifery and emotional truth telling, inviting people into the now moment through warmth, okay? A key to kind of healing this energy would be to you reclaiming sacred union with yourself before offering it to other people, which means your thoughts and emotions have to align in order for you, and you have to take your thoughts and your emotions have to align so that you can take the appropriate action. Not only that, you feel first, and then when it comes to expression, you feel first from your heart. Your mind helps you to logically organize it so that you can express it and transmit it. But that's the only thing your mind does. Your mind is never going to give you understanding. Your mind is only going to cause more confusion, and you cannot intellectualize or think your way through feeling, because those are two separate languages. It's like trying to learn English through studying French. It doesn't work. Your thoughts are meant to help you to bring what you feel into form. That is it. It's only a translator. And so if you're living in your mind and not your body, you're never going to feel integrated. You're always going to feel out of alignment with your purpose. You're never going to have the confidence and clarity and stillness that you need in order for you to move through reality in a place that feels good for you, right? And so this energy requires you to feel. It requires inner harmony first, okay? Can you show up for yourself? Can you tell people what your needs are? Can you set appropriate boundaries when it's time to set a boundary, and not have the boundary be a demand? Because a demand is something you want somebody else to do. A boundary is what you're going to do. Nobody can ever cross your boundary because it's what you're going to do. So if they cross your boundary, then it's time to go, right? And so that's kind of what it's about first. And then soften the same softening and compassion that you give other people. Can you give that to yourself? And that goes back to mothering yourself, right? Instead of running away from the emotion or distracting yourself with whatever we decide to distract ourselves with, doom scrolling, whatever, can you sit with the emotion and say, what do I need to help me navigate this emotion? Do I need cookies? Do I need wine? Do I need a good rom-com? What do I need to help me be comfortable as I sit with this emotion, right? Can I give myself that same compassion and grace? Because I'm allowed to make mistakes. I ain't come here to be perfect, right? It's through those mistakes or me weeding out what options work for me and which ones don't. There is no mistake. There is no failure. It's only refinement, right? What didn't work yesterday, I'm going to try a new option today, right? Can you do that? And then this lineage realigns through boundaries, through emotional tending, nurturing yourself, and letting love become an offering and not a transaction. So what you said earlier was you give. And if you can't get that back, bye, right? People pleasing is a dangerous game because we don't realize that people pleasing is manipulation. And it's not manipulation through the lens that we look at it through. Is you trying to validate your worth. You need an external validation. Now, that's not a bad thing. Want me to tell you why? Because they've taught us and conditioned us towards external validation. Did you not have a teacher grading you your whole life? Do you not go to a job and they grade you at your job and that determines your livelihood? That is what we've been conditioned towards. And so what we do is we try to, in society, men have to do more because they're here to produce and provide. Women have to give more because they're here to please and not complain about it. Right? And so what you're actually doing is what society taught you to do. Okay. However, it erases you in the process. It robs you of genuine connections. And so what you have to do is go back and say, you know what? How can I show up authentically? Because you're not showing up authentically if you're saying yes to everything, if you're not telling people what your needs are, because we get to know each other through conflict. Okay. And conflict does not have to be rah, rah, rah in your face. Okay. Conflict means that we have differences that we need to defend. Right. And so what you have to, sorry, they always giving me a damn puzzle piece of something to do on here. So what you have to realize is that you are making the relationship transactional. Right. And because of another part of people pleasing is hyper independence. We think hyper independence is a badge. Like we're a boss woman and I got it all together. Right. However, it is a trauma response. You think that people will disappoint you. And so if you don't need them to do anything for you, then they can't disappoint you. And you're trying to protect yourself from pain, which also in turn protects you from happiness, because nobody knows where you start and where you end because you haven't said no to anything. People can take advantage of you. People don't know who you are. They don't know where your limits lie because you have not told them. And so you rob people of the ability to support you because you're on this hyper independent, I don't need anybody for anything type of thing. And so you tell yourself people don't show up for you, but the truth is you're not giving them an opportunity to, because you're trying to be perfect or you're trying to be whatever. That's where accountability, I'm big on accountability. That's where accountability comes in, right? And then on top of that, you feel so alone because you've abandoned yourself and you've erased yourself trying to make sure that their needs are met while neglecting your own, which is, we don't always have time and energy to pour into as much as we intend to try to pour into other people. It exhausts us, it drains us. And so being able to tell people, I got to think about it. That's my favorite thing to say. You ask me anything, you better not need it in 24 hours because I got to think about it to figure out whether or not my body want to do that. Because I get home and now I'm having a conversation with myself like, why the hell did you tell them that you was going to do that? Now I got to be a flake. I don't want to be a flake, And so you have to slow down and give your body time to process. Okay. That emerald energy that earthy, soothing energy you talked about, that's meant to support you in that. Okay. That's how it ties in with this energy. And so for you, that emerald energy is going to help you with heart healing and ancestral love transmutation. Okay. The sapphire energy is going to help you to find alignment between love and divine law, because you also have a very logical side to your energy, which is that diamond energy. And so sometimes your heart and your mind is fighting. And it's because you're trying to lead with your mind, and the mind is the master. The mind is never the master. The mind is only the translator. The mind is only the scribe. Your heart is the master, because that's going to tell you on a soul level what you want. Your soul communicates to you through feeling. It is its own language. There are no bad feelings. They're only telling you something. If it feels like a negative emotion, then that just means, hey, choose another option. You're out of alignment. Your soul doesn't like this. It doesn't matter what the emotion is. If it's negative, your soul doesn't like this. Choose another option, set a boundary, move away. Whatever the positive emotion is, yes, that's a yes. Please go towards that. That's closer to soul alignment, right? And so use your body as your guide, because it's always communicating to you. What loops in the mind is what you have not healed in the body. And so if you're trying to solve it in the mind and you've intellectualized it and you're like, why does this keep coming up? It's because you're trying to understand an apple by studying an orange. The only way to understand feeling is to sit with it, which is very uncomfortable, because in society, they tell us that we weak if we feel anything, right? No, it's your key. If every time that you don't feel, you're closing an access point to understanding yourself, right? So in this as well, the opal energy, right? The opal energy is going to help you to reflect true love multidimensionally across timelines, because you have a multidimensionality to your energy, which means when you look at people, you see people's potential. But what we don't understand potential is them across multiple timelines. You see the full spectrum of them. And so we think that we're looking at them, oh, we just see the good in them. No, girl, you got multidimensional sight, and you don't know what multidimensional sight is. And so you're trying to push them towards a version of themselves they can't even conceive. They don't see the world in the way that you see the world. And so you think you feel misunderstood because they're not getting it. They're not supposed to get it, right? When you have multidimensional sight, you have to learn to witness without trying to fix, because the fixing becomes the bane of your existence. The fixing is causing the problem, right? You have to witness and then ask yourself, is this person willing to receive what I have to say? Is this person willing to change? If the answer is no, you're going to be beating a dead fucking horse. The horse is already dead. It can't get deader than it is right now. They're going to be determined to misunderstand you. They're going to reject you. They're going to make you feel unseen. And what we do usually when we get frustrated in that is we try to force, right? We try to say it harshly. We try to say it in a different way. That is you trying to force transformation where transformation is not welcomed, right? And so to pull yourself back into alignment, you say, oh, this person is not willing to change. That's okay. We all on our own separate journeys. Give them the freedom of choice, because unconditional love is allowing people, understanding we're on this highway together, but we all got different directions. You don't know where they're going. They don't know where you're going. If you take your eyes off the road to try to tell them where they're going, you're going to crash. Okay? It's like y'all having two canvases and you need a little yellow right here, but you don't even know what they painting. And you ain't even asked them what they was painting. Right? And so unconditional love is allowing people to make the choices that are best for their experiences in them without your interruption. Because if you interrupt right now, yes, you can save them from this one situation. But guess what? Until they start making new decisions, until they decide to change, they're magnetizing it. They're magnetizing it. Right? And so it's just going to come back and you're going to have to keep doing that. That causes frustration. Okay? And that's where the anger comes in, because they're not getting it. They're not seeing it. And you got to do all the work. Stop doing the work. Be the lighthouse. Be the beacon. Turn your light on. Be the embodied example of what you want to see. But you do not come up off that shore to swim through the water, to wave at their boat and tell them to come this direction. Right? That is rose gold energy out of alignment. Okay. I think you said some pivotal things within this conversation that let me know rose gold is at the helm. It's just afraid. Okay. And so this is going to be on YouTube, girl. Listen to this again, because that was some tea. That was some gems. As a person who has a rose gold body, baby, I know. I didn't feel safe either. But we got to get you back to feeling safe so you can transmit clearly. Okay? Because the second energy you have is an opal diamond energy. It is a hybrid energy. Okay? Beautiful hybrid energy, by the way. But it does come with a little bit of sharp edges. It is multidimensional in sight. So it does give you a multidimensionality to your energy. And it does give you a little bit of that logical energy. as well. Okay. And so the opal energy, I also have, it's a B word, I'm not gonna lie. And the reason why I say that is because, again, we live in a reality that operates in polarity, which means only one thing can exist at once, instead of multiple things existing at once. And so this is the energy of multiple things existing at once in a reality where people are like, there's either right or wrong. And it's like, no, it's not just right or wrong. There's nuance in situations. Okay. So you have this gift called the soul hologram. Okay. And this allows you to access simultaneous soul experiences across timelines, but sometimes it comes with an inability to anchor, in which is where this emerald energy kind of comes into play. But you're multidimensional. You're not fragmented in any way. You're just a multitude of different things. And so you need to learn to step into fluidity, meaning that don't tie yourself to one identity. Like Erica is this person. No, Erica's a lot of different things, right? Don't tie yourself to one ideology. Be flexible and take a curious approach to life. Okay. That's how this energy works best. And so this opal energy is multidimensional reflection. It is a prism of many layers, simultaneously ancient, fluid, and interdimensional. Okay. It carries this frequency of reflection, of soul mirroring and remembrance across timelines. And it's people who have this energy serve as living archives and bridges between aspects of ourself across dimensions. Okay. Offering truth without distortion. Now, when it's in alignment, it does function as a clear mirror, revealing truths other people are avoiding or that are unable to be seen by them. Okay. That's part of you seeing their potential, seeing things that they cannot see, and wanting to bring that to the forefront. Because, friend, if you just heal this one thing, you wouldn't have to be in this pain and suffering, right? However, it's not our job to fix, save, and heal. It's our job. We are our job. And then how we show up in the reality is how we teach them. We don't teach them through trying to teach them. We hold ourselves accountable when we need to hold ourselves accountable, anchor into compassion when we need to anchor into compassion. Okay. So we easily travel across soul timelines and integrate forgotten soul pieces. Now, one thing that you said is that you dream. Spirit says she's a dream seer. Okay. A dream seer is somebody who is here. Dream walkers, dream seers are people who can collect lost soul fragments in the dream space. Okay. Easily travels across soul timelines and integrates forgotten soul pieces. Yes, that would be you, my love, which means that some of your dreams are probably soul memories. And so you need to write them down. If you're not writing them down, write them down, because they may not make sense today, but 3 years later, they might. That's what happened to me. Okay. So you want to make sure you have the details down, write down what you need to write down, and don't take things so literal in dreams. If a certain pattern keeps appearing, look at the pattern itself. Don't look at the characters. Because sometimes you only see in the dream space people you've seen in real life. And so you might think this is your brother, and then you say something like this is your brother, and they don't know what you're talking about, because they're playing a different character right now. You've just shaped them into this character. And so don't take it so literal. Literally look for the symbolism, the patterns, or whatever, because you're learning a lot through your dream space, whether you know it or not. And that is a gift in itself, because that is the real world. Yes. Okay. And I'm a dream seer. I don't see in my head like most people. My gifts are completely different than most people. And you have very similar energy to me. I don't see anything. I feel. I'm a feeler. I'm clairsentient. Sometimes I smell negative energy. I don't know how. It just smells like fucking sewage. But I smell it, or I smell like smoke, or gross. And my body is an oracle. Okay. But I don't visually see anything unless I'm into a vision, unless I'm in a sleep realm. Okay. Don't think that your gifts are not powerful because they don't show up like other people's. I want you to stop comparing yourself to other people, and I want you to trust your intuition, because if your people and beings and energy can trick you with what they show you in your head and the voice that they put in your ear, a lot of times you can't tell the difference between those two. But if you can read with your body, there is no confusion in anything. Okay. I turned off my seership because I was a priestess before, and I got tricked that way. You can never be tricked with your body. And so you thinking that you got these little ass gifts and these baby ass gifts. No, you don't. You got one of the most powerful gifts. You just need to trust yourself. For your body to be an oracle, that took a lot of practice in a previous lifetime. And then here you come, new you, and you just like, that's not good enough. Yeah. I mean, but my grandma could see full visions. Oh no, baby. Don't do that to yourself, because when I actually learn how to use my gifts, it's so different than other people. I very rarely see something, but my gifts have never led me wrong. I'm always right about people and things. Okay, so you got to trust yourself, and I think that's there though, because I do feel like that there's not a lot of gaslighting when it comes to your gifts. I just think that sometimes you will get intuition and you don't know that that's intuition. Right. And so it's just trusting it, allowing your gifts to show up in a way that it does not show up for other people. Because if you're basing it off of other people, then you're not getting anything. But if you base it off of you, you're getting something. Right. So you also have a ability to hold a vast capacity for nuance, which means that the other side of this energy, the energy that this energy is hybridized with, is a very rigid energy. And so I used to be a rigid person. Okay, I've been there. We do that out of protection of ourselves because it gives us this false illusion of control. Okay, you got to get out of that rigidity, because when you can look at the nuance in situations and you can look at things as a spiral instead of linearly, meaning like past, present, future, it's going to change everything that you have access to, right? Because if you're looking past, present, future, that means that if you go back to an event that happened before, you think that you failed or you're going backwards, and it does not give you the same ability to really look into what the deeper truth that's being revealed to you now that you're ready to hold more truth. Right? You need to look at things like a spiral, because if you're on a spiral staircase, you look down that spiral staircase and you can see every point that you've been from a higher perspective with new eyes, things that you could not see before. But if you're moving from rigidity, you're not going to give yourself an opportunity to do that. And that's where disembodiment happens. That's where the lack of integration happens. Okay. So don't look at things through linear terms. You got to look at things through spiral terms. Now, you also can merge and separate layers of yourself without being lost in them. And you also have a natural ability to see multidimensional identities and bring them home to themselves, which just means you can see the best in other people, but they have to be ready to change first. If they're not ready to change, put that lippy in a zippy. Okay. I'm serious, because otherwise you're going to be frustrated trying to prove to them something they don't have the capacity to see. Right? Keeps you from going crazy. Okay. What you activate in other people is radical remembrance of soul expression in other lifetimes or parallel selves, awareness of unconscious mirrors and projection patterns, meaning you can see the patterns, the urge to reunite lost fractures or parts of the self, clarity after confusion, especially around identity and purpose. You're going to be really good at soul sensing. Okay. Because you can see their potential. You can literally see what they have a capacity to do. A calm sense of wholeness that transcends labels. Okay. The shadow side of this energy becomes overwhelmed by how much they feel or reflect. Sometimes they're unable to separate what's theirs. They may feel unseen because they shape shift so easily. They can attract projection, jealousy, or confusion from those unready to see their own mirror. When people say they're the black sheep, a lot of times you're just multidimensional, babe. You're just multidimensional and you don't know it. Okay. They risk dissociation or spiritual bypassing when they're ungrounded. That spiritual bypassing is not want to go back to those past events because you think you've healed from them. Right? That's what spiritual bypassing looks like. And it does not give you an opportunity to deepen your truth, because as you reach higher levels of consciousness, we don't realize that how we transcend this lower level of consciousness is through changing our mindset. Our pineal gland has to change 90 degrees. We have to change our mindset 90 degrees, which means we have to be flexible. We have to be open, and our truth is going to deepen as we move up. The same truth, just with new eyes. Okay. Fear of choosing one single path or expression because you might feel trapped in identity. You are supposed to be a fluid energy. So be all of the Ericas. Don't just be one of the Ericas. Be whatever Erica is here today. That's the Erica that you are. And then tomorrow, if there's a new Erica that shows up, be her too. Right? The soul gifts that come from this is multidimensional seer. Okay. For me, this comes through my dreams. This comes through my dreams. Why? Because that's when we have access to the different multidimensional timelines. Okay. Memory weavers. I did a whole series on Atlantis that came through dream realm, visions that I was having, and also sitting with myself in stillness. Okay. When you have silver blue energy, which you do have, they made it a point for me to go back and look at silver blue energy. Neutrality is so important in your energy, sitting in stillness and looking from the triplicity and things, meaning like you have hot on this side, cold on this side. In the middle of those are warm. It's not just hot or cold. Between hot and warm, 1,000 different scenarios between warm and cold, 1,000 different scenarios. And so seeing both sides of the situation and allowing space for nuance comes from neutrality. Okay. And so you don't have to respond to everything. Learning when to act is going to be really important. Okay. Also, expert at shadow integration and helping other people see their hidden selves. If you carry the open mirror, you reveal distortion without shame. Meaning, like, this is a place of love. Okay, I'm here to love you. I'm not here to judge you. I say that all the time. That's my opal mirror speaking, right? Because we done all been through our stuff. I'm a damn mess. I'm still helping y'all while I'm a mess, right? That's just how we do it. We don't shame or blame. We hold space and create space. Hold ancient templates of soul wholeness and holographic healing. Often channel soul names, ancient languages, or forgotten fractals. Healers of identity fracturing, fragmentation, and soul loss. So the healing keys for you are going to be, you don't have to reflect everybody. It's okay for you to soften your mirror. And what I mean by that is some people, you're just gonna have to look at them and realize that they're not willing to change, and it's not your job to speak up for them because they're not gonna receive it. You know, I think the problem comes in is when we're trying to fix, save, and heal everybody. That means that you're gonna have to witness people that you love going against themselves, moving out of alignment, and you gotta maintain your position as the lighthouse. Don't jump in that ocean, swim to them and risk drowning because you trying to save them from themselves, right? It means you're going to have to witness people that you love going against what you know is best for them. It is not your job to fix them. You continue to hold the frequency because you will create a vacuum behind you and you will pull them up. The more that you heal in your DNA lineage, if they hold your DNA, you're clearing the lineage for everybody, which means you now open up space for them to be different. Okay, you heal yourself, you don't heal them. You heal yourself, you become the embodied example, and if they need your help, they will come to you.
It's in the beings.
Huh?
The being. So it's in the being.
It's in the being. Yes, because you don't teach by trying to teach. Like how you teach is like, say someone, you're in a car with your family and your brother brings up, I feel this is a real situation. This is what, anyways, we was in the car with the family and I'm trying to explain how I'm showing up for a friend. And my brother was like, well, you didn't do that for me when I was going through my breakup. You did this. And I said, you know what? I'm so sorry that I treated you that way. I wish I was a different person back then so that I could have created space for you. Cause I can see how much that really harmed you. And I really wish that I could have did it differently. Unfortunately, that wasn't who I was at the time. And I'm sorry that you got that version of me, but I can't treat this person poorly just because I treated you poorly. You know, I have to hold compassion for this person because that's what you deserved in that moment as well. And I'm sorry that I cannot give that to you. Simple as that. The whole car shut up. The whole car shut up and was like, well, you know what? Yes, Taja. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was wrong. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do you like that. And I hear you. I get it. I will never do that to you again. You deserve the same compassion that I'm extending her. I'm sorry I couldn't give it to you back then. I'm not trying to teach him anything. I am being the person that I say I am. I'm the embodied example of what it is that he needs to see. And so now he feels safe with me. Anytime he feels some type of way, he just comes and has a conversation with me. Why? Because I've told him, I want to hear what you have to say. You know, there are times when people approach me on the defense and they got to tell me something that I did that harmed them. And I stopped them and I said, hey, friend, it's me and you against the problem. I want to hear what you got to say. But I can't hear you when you're talking to me like I'm stuck to the bottom of your shoe. Okay, love you, but let's try to have the conversation because I want to hear you. You're probably used to people not wanting to hear you. I want to hear what you got to say because I love you. So let's take a beat. Let's come back. Right? It looks like that. It don't gotta be you dressing it up in these nice fluffy words or anything. It's literally you just speaking from the heart and being honest. Right? You holding yourself accountable when you need to hold yourself accountable. That's it. You know, it don't have to be, let me show you how to do it. No, you show them by the way you show up. Right? And so with this, your truth is valid even when it changes, which means that you got to allow your truth to change. Okay? Your truth is supposed to change because based on where you are consciousness wise, your truth is true for that stage. And so when people think right, left, wrong, right, wrong, for them, that is truth. Okay, it's just a partial truth. And we can see from up here that it's a partial truth, but from where they are, they can't see that. And it's not our job to correct or fix them. It's your truth is your truth. And we just have to agree to disagree. That's what I do all the time. I agree to disagree. Now, they don't like when you agree to disagree because they want to be right. But I'm going to hold my integrity. You hold your integrity. And when you catch up in a couple months and you call me on the phone and be like, Taja, I get what you said. Okay, friend, I'm there. I ain't even going to shame you. I ain't even going to blame you. You needed to reach it yourself, right? Sometimes our silence is a gift. It truly is. And so your truth is allowed to deepen. Allow it to evolve with you. It's supposed to. What I believed years ago is not what I believe today. You know? Yeah. And I had to learn that. Even when I look at the podcast, people love the podcast. And I'm like, yeah, in that first episode, I said something backwards. But I'm still glad that you went and looked at it because there's so much information in there. I'm still proud of that work because that's where I was at. That was my truth at that time. My truth is different today, which is okay because it means I grow and I've evolved. And in a climate that doesn't support that, I'm happy about that, you know? And so it's all, your truth is valid. You just got to let it evolve, which means you got to be open to considering other people's perspectives. Okay. Anchor your multidimensional self into your current embodiment, which means be the version of you that you are right now. Okay. Understand to call a spade a spade. When you're looking at other people, don't go off of potential. It's okay. You see the potential. That's good. That's good. That's multidimensional sight. Do not base your actions off of that potential. Okay. Call a spade a spade. Look at the evidence. But don't let your multidimensional sight get you effed up because it will. Because you're not recognizing that it's a gift. And so you're looking at it like, this must be true about this person. I must make them reach this version of themselves that they can't even fucking conceive. Right? Call a spade a spade. Anchor it into this current embodiment. Okay. And then let yourself be seen as you are, not as others' projections onto you, you know, like, or don't be so worried about how people are perceiving you. Literally be as you are and be comforted in that. Live unapologetically as that. If there are parts of yourself that you don't necessarily like, go back and you get to do it different every single day. Go back and say, you know what? I appreciate the version that, you know, that you were because I was probably trying to survive something. I needed you. Now my circumstances have changed. I get to be a different version today. That is okay. Whatever parts you didn't like, choose another option because you want to become a version of yourself that you love. You know, I don't like that I am spiteful. I don't like that I hold grudges. I laugh at the fact that I do that because it is funny. And sometimes I feel justified in that. Do I like the shame that comes along with it? No. And so that's not how I'm going to act. And so I have to acknowledge that I am these things because if I can acknowledge them, I can come up with a plan on what to do when I feel myself getting that energy about to tap your ass back. You know, I could say, because if I'm in denial, I might just go ahead and do it. But if I acknowledge that that's a part of me, okay, sister, calm down. Wait until you get out of the wave of the emotion and then figure out what you're about to do because you don't want to do something you're going to have to apologize for later. Right? And so exist as you are, but be honest about who you are, though. You know, I think that's step one. Be honest about who you are. Okay? This opal energy helps, goes with that rose violet energy, that's soul remembrance through emotional reflection. Also that sapphire energy, which is inner law meets quantum soul truth. Okay? That's it. Now, I'm sorry. I know I cut that kind of sharp there. That's a hybrid energy with the diamond. And I know that this is information overload. I'm putting it in this video. So if you dissociate for a second, girl, I understand how overwhelming this is. Okay.
I'm here with you.
So if you need to go back and watch this, I just want to put it all in the video because you only have 3 energies in your primary energy, but you have a hybrid. And so it's really 4 energies in your primary energy. And this is your soul's language. Now, this other one, I think you resonating with you flying a little too close to the sun with this one. Okay. But it's okay. It's just trying to protect you. And that's what this energy does. Okay. This is diamond flame lineage. Okay. It's soul precision, divine order, and light refraction. It is piercing clarity, energetic refinement, soul architecture. And these are the clarifiers. Okay. Now, diamond flame bearers are the architects of sacred order. They carry crystalline clarity and cut through distortion like a blade of truth. When in alignment, their presence sharpens timelines, words, and intentions. They are not cold. They are exact, bringing sacred precision that liberates what is entangled. And what this looks like is technically, it's like that type of energy, technical energy. Okay.
I'm a computer programmer. I get it honestly.
Oh, okay. That makes complete sense. It's very detail oriented, very technical, very, and so when it's in alignment, it speaks direct truth that awakens soul memory. It creates systems and containers of sacred structure. It refines chaos into crystalline harmony. Okay. It illuminates blind spots with grace and sharp knowing. It activates energetic, emotional purification in other people. And it's about purification. These are the purifiers and the clarifiers. Okay. The soul gift is clarity transmission, which means you reveal the truth beneath illusion. Energetic refiner, which means that you are clean cut and polished in your soul field. Sacred system builder, which means that you bring architecture to divine inspiration. Truth activator, your gaze or presence call forth full honesty. And then energetic detoxification, which means you dissolve psychic gunk in individuals and spaces. What that activates in other people is the courage to face the truth. The truth, recalibration to soul clarity, desire for order and refinement, detachment from false stories that they're telling themselves, or clarity of soul contract or mission. Now, on the shadow side, it can become overly critical or perfectionistic, one or the other, emotionally detached or suppress its feelings. It could avoid vulnerability for the sake of order, meaning like, I'm trying to keep the peace, I'm trying to keep order. It can judge others harshly when out of alignment and hold impossibly high standards for themselves and for other people. Okay. Now, I love her because she gonna cut through that illusion. She don't play no game. She's about structure, right? However, how we do that is important. Okay. Because this can very much so be a controlling, rigid energy when it don't have to be that. It's just a precise, exacting, this is what it is. Stop saying that it's not this, So, how do we heal this energy? We need to embrace our softness and imperfection as a portal to divinity. Okay. And so your softness is not working against you. Okay. Your softness is very much so needed. Okay. When it comes to imperfection, if you try to do everything perfect, it's going to cause stagnation. And what I mean by that is you want to make the perfect step, and so you don't make a step at all. You want to do it the right way, and so you don't do the thing at all, right? Let imperfection be a portal to your divinity. Allow yourself to explore yourself. You didn't come here to be perfect. That is perfectionism, performance culture. That is society's expectation of you. But it leaves no room for you because it erases your authenticity. It's telling you, don't be yourself. Be this machine that I can siphon energy from. Right? I'm being dramatic, but did I lie though? Right? Yep. But it's telling you perfection takes away from authenticity. And so you can't do it your way or even explore what your way is when you're trying to be perfect. And so let yourself be a fucking mess. Let yourself be a mess. Right? Because when it's through that mess that I discovered, okay, these are the parts that I like. These are the, it's like cleaning out your closet. You got this big shit. And then once you pull everything out, you got all this shit that you organizing and putting back together. It's like that. Right? So ground into your body and emotions, because clarity it includes feeling. Okay. You have to feel into things first. That is where you get clarity. You do not get clarity from your mind because your mind is only translating it into form. It's only helping you to express it. Everything is solved right here in the chest, in the body. Okay. Remember, you're not just the blade, you're the light that refracts it. Okay. So there's a need to reconnect to joy of creation, not just the result of things. So people who have this energy are often living in the future. And that sounds like, well, I'm supposed to be further. I'm supposed to be this. I'm supposed to be. Well, if you too focused on what you're supposed to be, what you're saying is this version of you ain't who you're supposed to be, which means you become dissatisfied where you are. And you have these impossible standards of yourself that you're never going to reach because that puts you in a chasing energy. You're not here to chase. You're here to magnetize and attract. You can attract if you're not open or in an expanded state. When you look at the future, you look at the goal and where you're going. And then you say, what can I do right now to get me one step closer? That is it. That is all. You don't need any goals past what you're doing right now in this moment because nothing else exists. It doesn't. So look at the goal. What is one thing I can do right now to get me closer? Then you focus your attention on that. But let the outcome be whatever it is. Because had I not let the outcome be whatever it is, I wouldn't be here. I started this off as just telling people about my healing journey because I was a depressed girl, and I was just like, maybe somebody else is the depressed girl too. I'm a lover girl in a world full of unlovers, right? And so I just started posting stuff, and people are like, you should. As I did that, I started going on a spiritual journey of looking into, and I just started posting. And I took people along on my journey with me, and then they was like, you should be a spiritual mentor. And I said, hell no, for like 10 months. And then I said, okay, let me just try to put it together. And I wrote the whole program overnight. I posted it on Monday, had 3 clients on that Monday. And then it ended up being something that I loved. And then I just kept being open and curious because my gifts don't come like everybody else. I don't have a vision every night. I don't have a dream every night. But then I remembered myself in keeping track of those visions. And then one day I woke up and they all came together. And I said, oh shit, that's all aligned. That's crazy. And then when I realized that, I became more open because I'm just like, oh, so I'm not tripping. Okay, great. Okay. And then when I did that, all of this came from inside of me, this whole reading. But is it not spot on? This came from the inside of me, right? And so you got to give yourself an opportunity to be different than who you think you are. Because the truth of the matter is we don't know nothing. Everything we think we know is a half truth because we haven't reached enough expanded awareness to know that. And so take a curious approach to life, okay? This is the diamond energy that connects with that opal energy, okay? And the last one, damn, I feel like I've been talking for an hour. Jeez. Okay. The last one is the crimson energy, okay? Now, again, I love when people have crimson energy because this is heart fire. This is the energy that's going to give you the courage to reclaim yourself, your sovereignty, okay? So this is courageous heart reclamation. It's it blazes through fear, through shame, through ancestral silence, and it carries codes of fierce love, sacred truth-telling, and the reclamation of one's voice, body, and emotional sovereignty. And so when it's in alignment, it speaks and acts from a deeply embodied heart space, even when it's uncomfortable. Okay, this energy and that rose gold energy work hand in hand. And that's why sometimes your truth might be sharp because that diamond energy is playing a part in that, but so does this fire energy, right? And so it's going to help you to speak the truth even when it's uncomfortable. Okay, feels the truth rising through your body and refuses to betray it. Walks with bold compassion, especially for those who are silenced, exiled, or disempowered. That's again that black sheep energy, right? Often activates the unspoken in others and brings generational cycles to the surface. Comfortable holding sacred rage, grief, and transmutation at the same time. Okay, what it activates in other people is the courage to finally speak or confront what has been long denied, a desire to stop playing small or pretending, emotional liberation, which is especially for your inner child or your younger self, and then fire through your womb and chest center, a reclaiming of personal and ancestral power, because ancestral power comes through womb, your womb vault. Your soul power comes through your heart vault. Okay. The shadow side may lash out or become reactive when their truth is not being received. Okay. Can feel misunderstood or alone in their fire, creating walls around their heart. Okay. Might carry shame for how much they feel or disrupting false peace. Peace that ain't even peace. Fake peace. Right. Tends to exhaust themselves advocating or protecting others while forgetting their own needs. Okay. The shadow or the gifts that come with this energy is cellular and ancestral truth activation, voice-based alchemy, meaning you got to speak, spoken word transmissions. Okay. Fire channeler for emotional release and transmutation, shadow midwifing for other people's grief, rage, and identity shedding, meaning you hold compassion, you help them to navigate those things. Embodied heart-led leadership and sacred rebellion can hold sacred space for initiatory grief, rupture, and remembrance. How do we heal her? Allow your own vulnerability to lead, not just your passion. Okay? The vulnerability, being honest with yourself and speaking from an honest place. Okay? Which requires you to feel, by the way. You're not here to fight everything. You are here to remember and realign. Okay? So choose your battles. Create safe containers for your truth instead of burning down every bridge. Okay. Meaning that sometimes you're going to have to create the safe environment, right? Like I said, my friends will approach me sometimes, rah, rah, rah. And I'm like, oh, hold on. I want to hear what you have to say. It's me and you against the problem. I actually want to listen to what you say because I'm your friend and I never want to hurt you. However, not like that. Treat me like I'm not the op, right? And I say that lovingly and plainly, but I'm dead ass serious. Treat me like I'm not the op, sister, because it's me and you against that. I want to hear what you have to say, right? And so you're going to have to create those containers. You're going to have to be the one who releases the or surrenders the ego, right? The part of you that says, who you talking to? Don't let their message get lost in their mess, right? Also, set boundaries, because like I said, hold on, friend. Love you, but no. We ain't having a conversation like that. But I want to have the conversation, but not like that, right? Your fire is sacred. Wield it like a torch, not a sword. Meaning that when you can't hold that truth in, that is your truth coming to the top. That is your passion coming to the top. But when you in the midst of that emotion, sometimes it ain't got no clarity there. It ain't no clarity there. It's just pure fire, right? And so when I say lead with your own vulnerability and not your passion, you need to walk away for a second. You need to feel into what the feeling is and why you're reacting this way, because oftentimes when we react to something emotionally, it's not this one thing. It's all the other times y'all played with me like this. And then we take it out on that one person, and that's not even all there is to carry, right? And so we burn down the bridge with us both standing on it, and it didn't even have to be that deep, right? And so you want to make sure that you are not just projecting or you're responding from your wounds. You need to respond from your heart. That doesn't mean you have to be nice. It just means you have to be clear. And being clear means taking a second, taking a beat, because you have all this emerald energy, this crimson and this emerald energy are both helping you to be embodied and grounded, which means you got to slow down. You got to slow down to be embodied and grounded. Okay. So this energy with your opal is going to help you to reflect shadow truths across dimensions for release. With the rose violet, it's going to help you merge heart healing with mirror-based shadow alchemy. And you need that so that you can reflect clearly. Okay. So those are your primary frequencies. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to send you an integration package with these primary energies. I'm going to list these other energies there so that you know them, because I do these on live quite often. And so if somebody mentions emerald energy, which I think I already did, if you go on my YouTube, there's a playlist called Flame Lineages. That emerald energy has been talked about. The rose violet energy has been talked about. The silver blue has been talked about, and the sapphire. And so you can go and listen to those other lives so you can figure out what those energies are. A secondary lineage is helping your first lineage, but an overlay is something that happens through particular circumstances or particular people. Okay?
Okay.
All right, my love. Do you feel discombobulated? Do you feel overwhelmed?
No.
Oh,
that was amazing.
Oh, good. Good. I always hope to confirm, some things for you, because I think it really helps you understanding what your specific energy is. Because I think we do a lot of generalizing of like, everybody should do this. And it's like, yeah, but not everybody has that energy. And so this is a way for me to give you specifics on your energy. And so what I'll do is I'll put together an integration package for you. And it's just going to list out everything we kind of talked about today. And then I'll give you some integration prompts. And if you need help whatsoever, you can reach out via the Telegram chat. But I also have a Mirror Flame Circle on my Patreon. It's $44 a month, but it's a weekly reading, and it helps you with integration. So if there's any collective work we need to do, you're part of the collective work. But also if you're working through your shadow prompts, you need help, it gives you complete access to me. And I do try to do a live every week in that circle. To answer any questions that you have. So it's kind of like mentorship if you need help embodying. Okay. Now that you've gotten this reading, you do have access to that because it's only a members only. Okay. So that's available. But outside of that, that's you, girl. I hope it gave you some confirmation. Yeah.
Some gems, true gems in there. And thank you for the clarity on my gifts as well. So
yeah, you're welcome.
Very helpful.
You're welcome. I feel like I felt that same way. Like I genuinely felt like because I wasn't seeing something that nothing was happening. But I thought that I was really good at pattern recognition. That's what I was telling myself. No, this is just pattern recognition, right? And then I take a psychic class, and the psychic teacher is like, "You're very advanced," and I'm like, "I don't feel that way." And I'm so like reluctant to that. Like this, I probably gave this lady hell. I was like, "No, I don't feel like that." And so I started taking her mentorship, and she would just call random people on Craigslist, or like she would put up an ad, whatever. And like I would have a call with her every single week. And then it wasn't until I started doing those readings and picking up on stuff that I shouldn't have access to that I was like, oh, there might be something to this that I did not understand. And she was just like, your gifts just don't come through like other people. And then as I started remembering myself, there was a past life where I activated someone too quickly. And it was a kid, and he ended up dying. And so I turned off my ability to see, because I know that people can trick you with what you see and what you hear, in spirit, because you can't see them, And so I've taught my body how to read. And so I read so different than other people. It's like I can put my hand, like it's like I'm putting my hand, like dipping myself in a field without actually getting in a field. And I have heart-to-heart coherence, meaning that I see they soul contracts, they soul blueprints, but I would have never gotten to that place had I not allowed myself to be different than everybody else. So allow yourself to be different, because yours don't look like that. Pay attention to your dreams, because sometimes I'm dreaming for other people. I'm not even dreaming for me, And so pay attention to that, because a lot of your patterns and stuff are going to show up in that way. And that's not a bad way for it to show up. To me, it's clearer. Like I get the message. I'm tapped in, but you just got to make sure you're conscious in that area too, because you do have a multidimensional energy, which means you got access to stuff that most people don't got access to. You just got to trust yourself. And I would love to see what that looks like for you, my love.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it.
You are welcome, my love. I will send you, I'm probably going to take a smoke break. And then I'm going to come in and work on the 2 packages that I have. So I will give me a couple hours, and I can get you a package for you to start working on integration. Okay.
Definitely.
All right.
Anyone on here who's thinking about doing this, do it. Definitely do this, because this has just been amazing. Yeah.
Oh, awesome.
Thank you for tuning in, everyone who's out there.
Thank you, Erica. I appreciate that. I'm going to send you a message through the thing, and we'll get to it. But thank you for allowing us to witness you, because there are so many people who, the reason why I do these sessions on live is because there's so many people who just need to hear the advice part of it. And it's not easy being the one to come up and show your face. It's not easy, because I feel like it opens you up visibility, and for people to judge you, or whatever the fucking case may be. And so I just appreciate you for allowing us to witness you today, because that's a big part of just the journey. And so I'm sure I said a bunch of nuggets on here that people needed to hear. So we appreciate you, girl.
Thank you.
All right, Erica. Have a good one.
All right. Take care. Thanks.
No problem. Bye. So this one, y'all. Hey, Nikki Nick. This is actually called the Flame Lineage Readings, but I do offer the initial reading, because this is the initial reading where I just go over your primaries, which you can have up to 5. Most people will have up to 3, though. If you do it on live, I have a section within my website called Mirror Flame Live Readings. You have to see live in big bold letters, and I offer services through that specific one on live. And so if you come and allow yourself to be witnessed and allow the people to get the same advice that you're looking to get, I do discount the price for you guys. And I even go extra mile. Like I don't usually send an integration package for primary lineages, but I appreciate people showing up and allowing themselves to be witnessed. And so if there's anything that I can help on y'all's journey, I try to do as much as I possibly can. And I don't charge for everything. I get people who write me all the time like, y'all spiritualists are always trying to charge. And I'm just like, girl, I done did so much shit for free. You should already know. If you've been here, you should already know. But anyways, this is the tier 1. This is the initial reading. The secondary reading does go into soul contracts. So if there's a past life vow that you made, I recently had a client who in a past life was suffering with postpartum depression. She was only like 16. And I think her dad impregnated her and nobody believed her. And so she had the baby by herself, and she was standing on the edge of a cliff, and she threw the damn baby over the cliff. But in this lifetime, she had convinced herself that she was throwing books into the damn cliff, child. And so she dealt with a lot of shame and wanting kids in this lifetime, and those type of things. And so whatever is appearing, or there could be a specific event that happened in your past lifetime that could be affecting you in this lifetime. And I've done several of these, and it's oftentimes around betrayal, it's around shame, it's around grief, it's around some of those heavier concepts. Like, for instance, I had somebody who in a previous lifetime, she chose this guy and she went against her family. They kept saying he dishonored her, meaning like he took her virginity, got her pregnant, left her for somebody else in a time where that just was not allowed. And her family were like higher up people, and they were very religious, and they ended up putting her out because of that. And she was with this child, in this lifetime. It's almost like the same story of what she's going through right now. So in the tier 2, there is a past life reading. The tier 3 is embodiment coaching. So that's 3 2.5 hour sessions where I'm walking you through every single part. I'm walking you through your oversoul's function, your oversoul's tone. And then I'll tell you how all of your energy connects, so I can give you advice on how I would do my healing, in what order I would do it, and things like that. So all of that is on my website underneath the Flame Lineage readings. Yes, Taj, stay dropping gems. It was nice to get to know your spiritual journey. Oh, thank you, my love. I appreciate that. Need a past life reading ASAP. Yeah, I thought about doing past life readings like as its own service. But one thing that I've realized from my oversoul is that my gifts are specific to my mission, meaning that anytime like I'm using my gifts for like love readings or, like stuff like that, it feels so out of alignment. I hate it. I thought about past life, but Spirit is saying the past life part is specific to what thing is standing in their way in this lifetime that they can't move on from that happened in the past life. So it's very specific to the one event that you're holding on to from past life that needs to be alchemized. And so that's why I offered as a part of a package, because Spirit is very particular about how I use my gifts, or like in what areas I'm gifted because of what my mission is here, which is crazy because this weekend I went through my human design again, and I'm in alignment in all of my energy, which is a really good feeling, guys. It really is. Even my oversoul mission, like I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing, which is period. We love that for her. All right, y'all. I've been working all daggone day. Is Cinnamon on here? Did she ever show up? Hold on. Let me go through the comments real quick. Did she ever show up? Oh, no. No, I don't think she on here. Well, anyhow, that's it for today. I gotta, work on these. You did my human design reading and I loved it. Definitely booking more readings. Oh, good. I wonder, did I do it recently or was this a long time ago? Because I've restructured human design to be more soul encoded, to have to do with oversoul embodiment, because it really is a crystalline intelligence that's meant to help you to embody your oversoul. So I'm wondering if I did it recently or it was a minute ago. Because girl, it was earlier this year. Oh yeah. I probably have changed that service now. It's still the same information. It's just, I think that human design was very mental focused, very material realm focused. And I wanted to make it more soul encoded. And so I've redid the system. I actually am thinking about hopping on here one of these days and having people just randomly, give me their date of birth and stuff like that. And me pointing out doing like a human design hotline type of deal. But we gonna see, girl. But anyways, I love y'all. It's 7:00 where I am. And so I got 2 more things to do before I can go to bed. And I just want to do them. So I love y'all. I will see y'all later. This will be available on YouTube as soon as I hop off. Okay. Bye.